Do you like vid games? Yeah, I like vid games. Do you like stories? Yeah, I like stories. Do you like SideQuest? Yeah, I like. Wait, what the hell's SideQuest? Do. Welcome to SideQuest. Wait, what?
Hi, everybody. My name's Jackson, and welcome to SideQuest, the show where I play video games and tell you stories about them. Today, I want to talk about someone that's close to all of our hearts. He's cool, blue, and full of attitude, and his name is Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic first came out in 1991 on the Sega Genesis with his titular game, Sonic the Hedgehog. Over the years, Sonic's had many games. Most of them really bad, but who am I to say? Sonic fell out of pop culture some time ago, but he's come racing back into our hearts and minds thanks to a live-action Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out this Valentine's Day. Now, when the movie was first announced, it got a lot of attention. The first trailer dropped in April, and when it came out, a lot of people were very unhappy with it. The way they designed Sonic, he looked like a toothy little gremlin, and everyone hated it. So, people did what they do best, got online, and complained about it. And surprisingly enough, the studio actually did something about it. They delayed the film, they went back in, they totally redesigned Sonic's look from the ground up, and they turned him into something that people wanted to see. Like I said, the movie came out on Valentine's Day. I went and saw it. I didn't like it very much, but a lot of people did like it. So I'm not one to judge, but yeah, I think it could have been better. That's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today, I want to talk about Sonic's original redesign, because he did not always look the way that he does now. No, back in the day when he was first designed, he looked quite different. So without further ado, let's get into the story of Sonic's original redesign. Okay, so our story takes place in the year 1990. At the time, Nintendo reigned supreme in the home gaming industry. They have their flagship console, the Nintendo Entertainment System, leading the charge. Sega was another gaming company that wanted to sink its claws into the home gaming industry. So, in 1989, they released the Sega Genesis, which was supposedly a more powerful version of the NES. The NES was an 8-bit system, the Sega Genesis was a 16-bit system. They released some games with it, but it never really took off. No game really could compete with Mario. So the company held a company-wide mascot designing contest to see who could come up with the best design for a new mascot. A lot of entries were given, but the one that ultimately won was a design named Mr. Needlemouse, who was this spiky little mouse that, yeah, he was just like a spiky little mouse. They liked it, they went forward with the project, they started designing a game around it. The game designers played Mario, and they said the thing that they hated about it was it went so slow. So to rival it, they made a game that went fast. They changed the name of Mr. Needlemouse to Sonic the Hedgehog, because hedgehogs are spiky, and Sonic is a name that is just synonymous with going fast. So at Sega, there's two branches of Sega. There's Sega of America, who the CEO is Tom Kalinske, and there's Sega of Japan, who the CEO is Hayao Nakayama. So one day, Tom is sitting in his office, and Nakayama calls him up and is like, "Hey Tom, what's up?" And Tom's like, "Oh, hey Nakayama, how's it going?" And Nakayama's like, "Oh, I'm good. Just got the design for Sonic. Do you wanna see what he looks like?" And Tom's like, "Hell yeah, fax him on over." So Nakayama's like, "Dope, I'll send him right over." So Nakayama faxes Tom the design of him, and Tom immediately hates it. He takes one look at it and is just disgusted with what he sees. What he got was a picture of a little hedgehog with a spiky collar, a leather jacket, sharp drooling fangs, and in his arms is a scantily clad, busty woman named Madonna. Human woman named Madonna. And Madonna was supposed to be Sonic's Princess Peach. Was supposed to be the female love interest that Sonic had to save. So, while still on the phone with Nakayama, Tom is like, Nakayama, this design's awful. We can't go with this. He looks like a freaking hooligan. No one's gonna like him. The human girlfriend is weird, and it's gonna come back to bite us later. We can't do this. And Nakayama's like, well, if you think you're so cool and you have a problem with this, why don't you go back in and try and come up with something better? So Tom's like, all right, I guess I will. So Tom goes back to his team and is like, guys, we need to change this, we need to fix this, we need to come up with a better design for him. So they spend weeks and weeks and weeks. They write this like 13-page manifesto about the life of Sonic the Hedgehog, and they give him this whole long backstory. And they essentially boiled him down to what we know today. The blue and the white gloves and the red shoes. So he calls up Nakayama, and he's like, hey, Nakayama, I got a new design for you. I'm going to fax it over to you. And Nakayama's like, all right, let's see what you got. So Tom faxes him over, and Nakayama doesn't hate it. He's not super impressed with it, but he doesn't hate it. He's like, all right, it's not bad. The one thing I would change from this is adding back Madonna. And Tom's like, no, we can't add Madonna. God damn it, I got a game over. I'm not very good at this game, sorry. Anyway, Nakayama's like, we're like, I will okay this design if you add back in Madonna. And Tom's like, no, we're not using Madonna. So it turns into this whole pissing contest to see whether or not they add Madonna back in. Ultimately, Nakayama trusts Tom's decision and they go without Madonna, which ultimately was the right choice, because I think if Sonic had a, bestiality relationship with a human woman, he would not be as popular as he is today. However, this did cause a large rift between the two branches of Sega. Sega of America and Sega of Japan started having some trust issues. They started having some, power complexes to see which branch was the better branch. And for me personally, I think that was ultimately the reason why Sega had an inevitable downfall. Don't quote me on that, but that's what I think. But yeah, no, as many of you know, Sega is not a console manufacturer today. They still make games. They're not very good games. It's mostly just trying to make Sonic games, but they haven't been too good at it in recent years. But really, the moral of this story is, if you don't like something, fight and complain about it. And you know what? There's a good chance you'll get it changed. Well, that's all I got for you today. My name's Jackson, and this has been SideQuest. Tune in next time where I will play a different video game and tell you a different story. Bye.